Hey guys, welcome back to Play Retro. If you're new here, my name is Javi, and today, you just got your beautiful, brand new POWKIDDY RBG30, and I hope you've gone ahead and already tested all your inputs. Make sure your buttons are good, make sure all your joysticks are working, make sure the screen's intact, make sure it charges. Basically, just make sure it checks out, make sure it's all good. If everything checks out, we're good to proceed to the next step. And I know. Look at this thing, it's practically begging to be played with. This beautiful screen, these nice joysticks, and these colorful buttons. I get it, you want to play, but before you save the princess, there's one crucial step we need to do before we can get playing. And that is to get your OS and your games off of these generic SD cards. And I've gone ahead and taken them out. To get them off these generic SD cards and to put them onto a brand new name brand reliable SD cards, so I can ensure you guys have the best play experience. So today on Play Retro, I'm going to show you guys how you can flash JELOS to some brand new SD cards and get it loaded up with all your games, all your BIOS files. I'm even going to show you how to put your own background music you can put on this thing, and we're going to scrape a little bit of Boxart as well. I did want to show you these the SD cards that came with my RBG30. There's actually some pretty good stuff on these, I'm not gonna lie. I actually got an official copy of Pico 8, like the legitimate version, not fake 8. I got an official copy of Pico 8, and I also got a copy of, now you're not gonna believe this, but my SD card came with a copy of Stardew Valley on it. How? I don't know, but I got Stardew Valley included with my RBG30, so definitely don't throw these out. There could be some really good stuff on them. Without further ado, this is everything you're going to need for today's tutorial. A micro SD card reader. Now you can use these as well. If you have these, if your computer has a slot for this, or if you have the adapter, you can use this as well. And then you're going to need two branded micro SD cards. I'll place these here. These are the size recommendations I'm saying today. A 32GB for your OS. You can use a 16 as well. However, those are like getting harder to come by every day. And then a 64GB or higher for your games. Okay, and I'm recommending SanDisk or Samsung. Those are the two brands I always use and the ones I rely on the most. You'll also need your stock SD cards if you want to take stuff off of them. Like mine actually came with some pretty good stuff on it, so I'm pretty thankful for these SD cards. However, if you have your own games or you have your own ROM library or BIOS sets you already have, you will not need this. However, for the people who don't have that stuff, you're going to need your stock SD cards as well. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get on the computer. So go ahead and start with your 32GB SD card, and let's put this on the computer.
Okay guys, welcome to my computer. As you can see, I've changed the wallpaper for this video. Just have these RBG30s right here, the super nice colors. Anyway, so before we start anything, we're going to start with some preparation. As I've already mentioned before, this is the stuff you're going to need. Your micro SD card reader, two name brand SD cards of various sizes. This is a Windows tutorial. This can be done on Mac. However, the process is going to be different. Not all programs I use in this are going to be available for Mac. So please be patient for a Mac tutorial when I get a Mac computer. Okay guys? Now as for the programs. As always, we're going to need three programs. We're going to be using MiniTool, Partition Wizard, Rufus, and 7-Zip. And as always, I will provide links for all this stuff in the description below, so you guys will not have to worry about looking for it. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, let's get started. So you insert this into the computer. I want you to go to MiniTool, Partition Wizard, the very first thing, and I just want you to look at your SD card. Now if it's a 32GB, it might already be a FAT32. If it's not a FAT32, I want you to go ahead and delete it. Right click, press delete, hit apply here, yes, press OK. Then you're gonna go right click, create, and then right over here where it says file system, I want you to create a FAT32 partition. Drive letter doesn't really matter, you can put whatever you want. Press OK, hit apply, yes, and then just give this a second. So what we're doing now, we're just formatting the card to FAT32. Okay, and then we can close out of this for now. So now you want to head over to your browser, head over to jelos.org. Okay, and then right over here you want to click here where it says latest. I will provide a direct link to this so you guys don't have to do this process, but And then down here, you're gonna scroll down, and the second one right here will be labeled RGB30. So this is the image you want to download. Go ahead and grab that and give it a second to download. So this download is only a gigabyte, so it should download pretty fast, but it is compressed, so we have to decompress it. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like when it's finished downloading. I want you to go ahead and right click it. We're going to go down to 7-zip, and you can either hit extract here and extract into your downloads, or what I like to do is I go to extract files, and then I'll go ahead and extract to my desktop. Press OK, and then press OK. I'll give this a second to extract the image onto wherever you're putting it. Okay, and here is our image in this little nice folder. Okay, now we're going to go into Rufus, press yes. Okay, and now making sure you're on the correct SD card. Now I only inserted this SD card into my computer, so I know for 100% this is the correct SD card. However, if you have a bunch of SD cards plugged into your computer, please make sure you're on the correct one. We don't want you to lose data. Just make sure you're on the right SD card. Okay, now I want you to go over here, click select, go to navigate your way to where your image file is. In my case, it's on the desktop. And go ahead and open that. And as soon as you're done with that, all you have to click is start. It's going to give you a little warning. You're just going to press OK. And now give it a second to do its thing. Okay, so we got a bunch of error messages, but that's fine. You're just going to close out of those. And total time to flash was 1 minute and 42 seconds for me. However, if you're using a really fast SD card, this could be faster. When you're done with this, you can go ahead and just exit out of Rufus. Okay, now you can safely eject that SD card. And now go ahead and insert your SD card for your games. For me, it's going to be this one right here. So go ahead and go into your MiniTool partition wizard. So when you get into your MiniTool partition wizard, it may look something like this. It might be exFAT, it might be something else. I just want you to go ahead and delete this and hit apply. Okay, and then we're going to create a new partition, and then we're going to make this FAT32 as well. And I like to do G for games or R for ROMs, whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Press OK, press apply, press yes. Okay, and that's SD card number 2. I quickly did want to mention right here, it does say on JELOS.org that you can have the second SD card can be FAT32, exFAT, or ex4 formatted SD card. So I always say FAT32, but if you guys want to use these file formats, that's fine as well. Okay, so once you're done with that, go ahead and check that one as well. And now we're done with this part.
Okay, so you flashed JELOS onto your 32 gigabyte or 16 gigabyte SD card number 1, and then you formatted your SD card number 2 to either to FAT32 or exFAT. So now we're going to go ahead and put these into our console. Now remembering these are like reverse contacts facing you, and you're going to put SD card number 1 where it says TFOS and SD card number 2 into TF game, remembering contacts facing you. Okay, and now let's get this booted up. So your first boot is going to take the longest. JELOS has to do its thing. Yeah, just give this a second. Let us do its thing. Okay, and this thing's finally done. Okay, and you're going to notice it's completely empty. It's just the operating system. Obviously, we haven't loaded this with games or anything. Okay, so your next step, you're going to press start, You're gonna go into System Settings. Then I want you to scroll down. Then you see Hardware/Storage. You're gonna see this option right here. It says Create Game Directories. And I just want you to press A on that. Okay, and that's just created the necessary folders in SD card number 2. You have two options. You can either just go here and you can eject the micro SD card, or you can just power this down. Whatever you want to do. I'm gonna go ahead and power it down. And now you can take out SD card number 2 so we can load it up with games. And your BIOS files and your saves if you want to transfer your saves over. So let's get on the computer.
Okay, so you put your games SD card in the computer. SD card number 2, right? And inside you should see a folder. It says ROMs, and then inside that folder you'll see folders corresponding to each of all your systems. And in here there's 110 different items. So there's a lot of different systems. Not everything's a system in here. Like you have ones for your media player, and you have some for background music and stuff like that. But for the most part, it is for emulators. Okay. So now I want you to go ahead, and you can either take the games from your games SD card, right, and just transfer them onto this one, or you can use your own ROM library, as I've done here. For this example, I've just made a list of like 50 ROMs, so this doesn't take forever. And I've already had it categorized right here. I just have Game Boy. Okay, there's 10 games there. Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. We have some Genesis in here, and then some Nintendo DS. Okay, so that's 50 games total. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and you can either go in here and just click and drag all your games into the corresponding folder. For example, GB into GB. You can just grab all these and move them over. Okay. If your folders have the exact same name as the ones inside the SD card, you can just click and just drag it over, and it should go right into the folder. Okay, that's finally done. And now you just want to copy over your BIOS files. So you'll find a folder labeled BIOS. And then you can go ahead and copy over all your BIOS files into that BIOS folder. Okay, and with that you should be good to go. So you can go ahead and exit out of this, exit out of this. Obviously, if you have a lot more games, this is going to take much longer, but this is an example after all. So go ahead and eject that SD card, and let's get off the computer.
Okay, so you're just taking this out of your computer. Go ahead and take this out, put it back in your system. Okay, let's get this booted up. Okay, perfect. And now once you boot up, you'll see you have your systems in here. And they'll have a nice little image corresponding to each system. Go inside and you'll see all your games. However, none of the games will have Boxart. So that's going to be our next step. We're going to do a little bit of scraping, okay? See, that's all your games are in here. Everything looks good. So now I want you to go ahead and press Start and go down to Network Settings. So go ahead and click Enable Network right here, and then you want to click Wi-Fi SSID, and just give this a second. Okay, guys. So I'm just gonna skip to when I connect to my Wi-Fi. All right. Okay. So now that you put in your Wi-Fi credentials, once you back out, give it a second. You'll see the little symbol right here, and you should be good to go. And now I want you to head down into Scraper. And we're going to configure some of these settings. So basically you need an account on something called the Screenscraper.fr. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description if you haven't already registered. Once you made an account there, you can fill in your credentials in here, your username and password, and then we can begin scraping. I do want you to set some of these. I like 2D Boxart, but you can do whatever you want. You have a bunch of options here. And I also like to do ratings. Videos is good, and I like to do manual. So that's already pre-configured. So I'm gonna go ahead and input this information, and then I'm gonna skip to the next part. 1 second. Okay, so once you hit next, you're gonna get hit with this screen right here, and you want to leave this to only missing and systems included. If you have a lot of systems, only do like maybe 1 or 2 at a time, so it doesn't take forever. I only have 50 games, and like this one and this one doesn't matter. But if you have many games, like thousands of games, just do 1 system at a time. I'm telling you, that way you don't have to just babysit this thing forever. Do 1 system at a time, and then just do it as you go, because if you have too many games, it's going to take a really long time. So go ahead and do that, and then you can just press start, and now you'll see this up here. It says it found 50 games. It's going to be scraping all the games one by one. So this may take a little while, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this here for you guys to watch. Okay, this thing's finally done scraping. It gives you a little message telling you to update your games list. So you're gonna press start, you're gonna go into game settings, and you're gonna press this button right here. It says update games list, and then you're gonna say yes. Now give this a second, and when you go inside, now your menu will look something like this. We'll have a nice 2D box art, and then when you wait a second, it'll give you a nice little video. And then you'll also have access to a manual in here, which is awesome. If you can't read it because it's too small, you can click on it and it'll zoom in, and then you can look through this, which is super awesome. Check this out. Press this, you got a manual, and there's your game manual. Pretty cool. So I want you to head over into UI settings right over here, and then I want you to go down to game list options, and here I want you to click on this show manual icon. That way you know if a game has a manual. Then when you exit out of this, you'll see there's like this little manual icon. Some of the games are going to be a little bit too long, so you won't be able to see it. Or this game doesn't even have one. This one doesn't have one either. But the ones that do have it, that you'll know it has a manual, so if you want to check it out, you can. And that's pretty cool. Alright, but it's a little bit too quiet right in the menu, so I'm going to show you how to add some background music now.
Okay, so you put back your game's SD card into the computer. Now we're going to add some background music. Okay, I want you to head over to this site right here. I'll leave this linked in the description below, but for this example we're going to use the Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum original soundtrack. You can go through these and listen to them, or use whatever game you want. Once you found a few, I want you to go ahead and download them. For example, this track right here called Lake. You click these 3 dots and click download. I've already gone ahead and downloaded it. So okay, so once you've downloaded it, go ahead and go into your ROMs, and I want you to create a folder in here. Right click, new folder, and I want you to name it capital BGM, and that stands for background music. Okay, and then inside this folder I want you to place those songs you put, those songs you just downloaded. Okay, and now you're done. Go ahead and inject this and put it back in the system.
Okay, so go ahead and put that SD card back into the game slot, and let's get this booted up. And now once you get booted up, the system will greet you with some beautiful background music. And if it's a little bit loud, you can also adjust the volume. Go ahead and press start. Go ahead into sound, and then you'll see options here for your background music. Right over here you'll see system volume and then music volume. You can lower this to your liking. And then I actually want to show you how you can switch between tracks. So you want to press select, and then you'll see an option here that says skip to next song. You can go ahead and press A. And there you go. That is one of my favorite features of these systems. I know it's just OS stuff, but it's just nice. Now I can navigate the menu. It's pretty. It's just a good time. You even have manuals. You have beautiful box art with a nice video in the back as well. It doesn't get better than this, you know? And now, of course, it's your turn. Let's play some games. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. If this video helped you out, definitely consider dropping a like. Subscribe for more content if you haven't done so already.
Let me know in the comment section below what's the first game you guys are gonna complete on this brand new RGB30.
And as always, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. My name is Javi once again. I'll see you in the next one.